Peace and love, y'all. This is the Pat King, and we're gonna get a game in. Make sure you check me out. Go to the Instagram. It'll take you to the Pat King, saving the world from alien invasion, one dimension, one game, one level, and one dot at a time. Hashtag we are not alien food. Before I get started, I just want you to know this game is brought to you by Feel Greater. Make sure you check out feelgreater.org. I'll give you some highlights of Feel Greater at the end, but let's get the game started. Let's do it. So what I'm going to give you all this game is I'm going to give you I'm going to play First 19. First 19. Now, First 19, that consists of the first 19 levels of the Ms. Pac-Man game. I don't know if you know this, but there are, in the arcade version, a good 141 levels before you get to the kill screen. That number might be off by a level or maybe, maybe 140, but we're just gonna do the first 19 levels. And that's why the game is called First 19. So this wraps up level 1. After I get these last few dots here, we're done. We're on level 2 now. Now this First 19 setup, I've designed it intentionally for battling purposes as well as scoring purposes. Specifically playing games within the game like Best Score or Last Life. Those games are just a lot more fun to play when you're playing First 19 format. Otherwise, you could potentially be here all day. And I realize people are busy these days. They don't have time to sit here watching me play Ms. Pac-Man for 141 levels. Even if you wanted to, it just takes too long. It takes like 2 hours, so. Go to the movies, you watch a 2-hour movie, it's all good. But not Ms. Pac-Man. They meet. They're in love. So anyway, with First 19, I still want to make a decision when I'm playing that format as to whether or not I want to play Best Score. Best level really doesn't apply since we're going to the same level. But Best Score, what else? We can play 4 dots. We can play dot bottom. Pretty much all the games make sense to play on First 19, except Best Level. All the rest fit perfectly when playing First 19. It's a close one. What was I thinking? So now that we made it to level 4, I just just want to give you a little backdrop story as to what I do every quarter when I do the Chase for the Kill Screen game. That's the narrative that, if you've been around for a little while, you've heard that narrative at least a few times now. If this is your first time checking me out, let me give you the narrative in a real quick way so that you get the gist of it within the next how many more levels we got? 14 levels, 14 or 15 levels. I'll start with the next level. How about that? This level, I got a little distracted. We'll start with the next level. This is level 4. All right, level 5. Let's get it. So here's how the story goes. A few years ago, pre-pandemic, I started playing the Miss Pac-Man game very passionately. Not really sure why. It quickly became my number 1 game. I mean, it even jumped in front of chess. And if you know me, you know how much I love playing speed chess. Jumped in front of that. I was playing Miss Pac-Man all the time. And you know what happens when you commit yourself to playing something all the time? You get pretty good at it. I got pretty good at it, and as the story goes, I began to have these interesting ideas about a narrative whereby my playing this game saves humanity. Having these interesting ideas about how I'm playing this game and it's somehow tied into a much larger narrative of me saving humanity. Make a long story short, I was told to take it seriously. These weren't just dreams, or rather, it could very well be much deeper than that. So I take it more seriously. The dreams continue, they get more intense. And lo and behold, as the narrative would put it, I made first contact. Now, what I made first contact with is what really blows my mind even to this day. I made first contact with the Papus. And the Papus are a I'll tell you in the next level what the packages are. So I made contact with the Pacu, specifically Queen Pacu, and in making contact, I had to consent to downloading telepathically a large amount of information, okay? I mean, I didn't realize how large the package of information would be that I'd be downloading until I actually downloaded it and saw for myself. It was mind-boggling. And what this package of information contained was a full explanation as to what my role would be in terms of serving humanity playing as Pac-Man. It turned out that my role would be crucial to saving humanity and all the living beings in this world. So, after downloading this information telepathically, what would happen next was that the information itself would unfold mentally, and I would begin to see the actual narrative that I was in and why I was in it. I hope that makes sense. So it was only then, after seeing the narrative within my own mind, that it began to really make sense as to why I was so attracted to the game as a young person, as a teenager, and why I was so compelled to play as an adult. It all started to make sense, and I'll tell you that on the next level. So if you check out the audiobook, Chase for the Kill Screen, it's a link on my page. Just follow Cookie Crumbs. If you check out a song in that audiobook called I Am Mr. Miss Pac-Man, it's basically explaining, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's basically explaining from the perspective of humanity. I meant to go down, not across. Sometimes that happens. Joystick miscommunications happen in this game all the time. It's all good though. I'm gonna pick this up from the next level because I got a little distracted. That joystick issue. So when I Am Mr. Miss Pac-Man, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but a creature is gifted to humanity, and this creature's name is Mr. Miss Pac-Man. And when he explains to us, after coming amongst us at Area 51, it's just profound. It just details this narrative of the Pacus wanting to save humanity from being consumed by another group of ETs called the Fs. And what's actually happening is that if the planet was, let's say, uninhabited and they wanted to consume it, or if it only had animal life on it, and and they wanted to consume it, that would pretty much go through the Galactic Council quite easily. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, okay, you wanna consume this planet? Go right ahead, right? Well, the Fs, being the parasitic species that they are, always sort of raise the Papu's eyebrows when they put in a request to consume a planet. And in the case of this planet, the Papus are well aware, thanks to hip-hop and their love of hip-hop, that this planet is occupied by intelligent life. But somehow the Fs got it cleared anyway to consume our planet, even with intelligent life on it. And as you would imagine, in any sort of corrupted scenario, they probably just negotiated their way into that position. So unfortunately, that's where we are. What the Papus have done is they have set up a way for humanity to save themselves from this terrible fate. As well as to reverse the decision that would in the first place allow humanity to be consumed. To reverse that decision, as explained in I Am Mr. Miss Pac-Man, it just really took a human to demonstrate the capabilities of the intelligence that we have, and to not be classified as gorillas, chimpanzees, and orangutans. If that makes sense. So what they basically did is they created a criteria that would separate us from other planets as indeed having intelligent life, and that is being human beings. And they negotiated at the galactic level a criteria that will forever stand going forward in our timeline, that if there's intelligent life on a particular, any planet, but in our case, our planet, if there's intelligent life that can qualify to perform what would be considered the easiest job in the Milky Way, if you could perform this job consistently, then you would be deemed as intelligent life. So what is that job? So that job that at the galactic level would demonstrate that we are in fact intelligent life is called a galactic operator of drones. In English, of course. So really, by having a human qualified to be a galactic operator of drones, that proves, without a doubt, that we are an intelligent species, and that saves our planet from being consumed. Didn't mean to do that. My bad. You would think that would be simple. Okay, all we have to do is just have a human be a galactic operator of drones. Sounds simple enough, right? That's what I thought in the beginning. Turns out, being a galactic operator of drones at the galactic level, and the reason why the Fs even agreed to this, is that it requires something called trilateral parallel processing of the mind, which that's just a fancy way of saying your mind has to have the capability to do three things simultaneously. Yeah, exactly. If you're thinking like, what in the world? That's what I was thinking as well when I was informed about this. So it turns out it's just not as simple as, controlling a drone with a joystick. In order to qualify, you have to do trilateral parallel processing of the mind. So I agreed after a very, how would you describe it, a very interesting selection process. I agreed to attempt this and become a galactic drone operator. This is all while I'm playing Miss Pac-Man. And the information that unfolded was that not only would I have to qualify as a galactic operator of drones by doing three things at the same time, but whatever technology I was using to actually control the drone, that would be one of the things that I'd be doing, but simultaneously I would have to be doing two other things at the same time. So what the Pacus did for us, which was very generous, is they took the drone system and connected it to a two-dimensional interface that we think is a game. But I'm at level 17. It always tells me I'm at level 17 because they don't turn anymore. So they took the two-dimensional interface that we look at and view as a game and tied it to an actual drone. So as I'm playing this game, it's actually controlling a drone. Now the drone that I'm controlling, it doesn't really matter where it is. It doesn't even really matter what type of resources I have the drone picking up. Just so long as I'm controlling a drone, that's all that mattered to qualify. Woo! So that's exactly what I did. Now the other two things that I had to train my mind to do simultaneously, there was a lot of like, okay, how do we actually achieve that part? There's a lot of back and forth there. That's where my balancing came into play, as well as my poetry and my hip hop. Now we're at level 19, last level. And I was able to then train my mind to perform hip-hop and balance at the same time. The balancing side of it was pretty tricky because vertical balancing, like standing on one foot or anything of that nature, really didn't qualify in terms of multitasking goes. So we had to identify a balancing technique that would qualify, and that's where balance in motion came into play, if that makes sense. So then I had to train my mind to play Miss Pac-Man as well as perform balance in motion, and at the same time perform hip-hop, all of which I did and became a galactic operator of drones. I did that pre-pandemic, and ever since then, this is level 20, so we completed our mission. I'm just gonna finish what I was saying. and then we'll close out of here. So I completed the mission and became a galactic operator of drones, and hence, here I am every quarter since then as the only qualified human to control the drone operator. I have to get to the kill screen every quarter to keep the agreement in place and to prevent the alien invasion. I'll stop there because it gets more interesting, but in the gist, you've got the whole narrative, and I'm gonna close out now. Thanks for chiming in. Peace and love. I'm out of here. Make sure you check out Feel Greater. If you go to the About page, it'll explain what Feel Greater is. I have a nice video there that breaks it down. And also, click that link under my name. It's going to take you to an interesting narrative that I recently wrote called A Blue Moon Has Risen. But you can scroll down and you can see the different sections of Feel Greater. So check us out. Thanks for chiming in. That's it for me. Omari Yota Kwali, or as I was later instructed to say, Omari Yoda Kwali, because in Swahili the N is silent. See that N right there? That N is just pronounced Omari Yoda Kwali, which is even more profound because Yoda is one of my favorite characters from Star Wars. Well, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Peace and love. I'll be back with another game quite soon. Thanks for chiming in, and thanks for visiting the Pat King and feelgreater.org. I'm out of here.